I'm Isaac with Twit, and today I'm taking a look at the WD-TV Play. That's this little guy. This is effectively a $70 network streamer, and it handles a lot of online services. A lot of people think this device is head-to-head up against the Roku, and it pretty much is. At $70, it's very low cost, and it runs a bunch of apps. You can see that on the screen here. This is our favorites page. It shows you a bunch of default things. We've got weather, we've got our storage, you've got some special offers. YouTube, an app you won't find on Roku, is available. Also Spotify, Netflix, Hulu Plus. These kinds of things are available on the WD-TV Play, which is a bit of a mouthful. When you get the device, it comes with a remote with dedicated buttons for Hulu Plus, Netflix, and Vudu. If you've been wondering, hey, where's Amazon on this? There's no Amazon Video On Demand service available on this product, which is a bit of a downer. But as you've noticed with the device, I have a USB device into here because this Play can handle local storage as well as network storage. So if you have a bunch of things on a media server, you can access it with your WD-TV Play. Now, I love to test out big freaking files. So I'm going to test out a MKV of a Blu-ray rip of some of the movies I have. So right now I went into the My Storage application and I navigated to a UPnP server I have on the network. The WD-TV Play will access DLNA and UPnP sources. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to play one of my movies. Let's go with Iron Man. This is an over 20 gigabyte MKV. Now you're going to see how long it takes to load, just a tiny bit of time. And this is going over my network. So it took about 3 to 5 seconds for the actual video to start from once we selected it. So what's going on, you can see the playback is very smooth. I've got to say that the WD-TV Play, again a mouthful of a name, this device has handled MKVs admirably. Unfortunately, there's no DTS decoding on board. So if you have a DTS audio source like on your Blu-ray, you won't be able to hear that. Now, it does do pass-through DTS, which means your receiver can decode it if your receiver does that. In my case, my receiver can't do that, so some of my MKVs don't have audio. The device is very responsive to every remote press I've done. Play, pause, skip forward. It does a great job with that. It's pretty snappy, even with these monstrous files going over the network. I don't think you would even notice that this is not the Blu-ray that's playing back. It's running through that tiny box. Now the WD-TV Play supports a lot of different files. It does not support DivX, which is a little bit of a downer as well. So no DTS decoding and no DivX support. It also does not play back video TS folders. So unless you have ISOs of your DVDs, you won't be able to play them back. Audio, it handled everything I threw at it, but I only have a couple of formats, MP3s, M4As, and they worked fine. As for the other apps that are on this device, there is a Netflix application. It's not anything spectacular. It's very reminiscent of every other Netflix application. Perhaps it best resembles the PS3. And you can see it takes a little bit for it to actually connect to the Netflix application. Like I said, very PS3-like, and it does a decent job. The Hulu Plus application, also very stock. Doesn't seem to be customized at all for the WD-TV Play. So it's very similar to the Roku application or even Hulu Plus desktop. Let's watch some playback of SNL starring Justin Timberlake, that man of many talents and new MySpace backer. So what I've been doing is I've been controlling the Play using the iOS app. WD actually puts out applications, so if you want to use a device like an iOS device, you can control your Play without needing line of sight, which is always a pleasant experience. The remote itself is kind of ugly, and it's built for a smaller iOS device. I'm using it on an iPad, so it's a little blown up, but it does work very well. You have access to all the services, so instead of you having to go through all the menus throughout the on-screen display, you can just go and find them and go, I'm going to launch Netflix from here, and it'll work that way behind me. So it's actually very powerful when you don't want to use the on-screen menu. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this device. Pros, local and network video support. That is something that just outshines the Roku completely. If you have networked video and they're in the right format, the Play will handle that very well. It handles giant files over the network, great. The MKVs played excellent. We're talking 20, 30 gigabyte files running fine. There's also Sling Player and YouTube apps. So if you have a Sling box you want to connect to, you could use the Play to get that Sling content. There's also Wi-Fi built in, so that's another plus. On the cons, there's no DTS decoding and no DivX support. So if you have files with those codecs, you're not going to be able to listen or watch them. The app selection is a bit small. There is no app store. The way you get new applications is via firmware updates. So is the Play a try, buy, or don't buy? It's definitely a try. At $70, you have a lot of different powerful options on this device. If you have a bunch of stuff on your network, it's definitely a very good device for that. Although, I would have liked to see some more support for things like DTS and DivX, because let's be serious, if you're using something like the Play, you might be a bit of a nerd like me or you. I'm Isaac with Twit, and you can catch all kinds of things I do, like on Know How, twit.tv/KH, or even Tech News Today at twit.tv/TNT.